Hello, Prince. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are starting right away or may I please understand the delay?
Actually waiting for the person like to send the slide to come online. Sir, if you don't mind, you can start sharing your slide.
Yeah, good evening, Prince. You do not necessarily need slides to do your introduction or any bio read. You don't necessarily need to wait for whosoever has the slide to present. You do not need that. So I'll just leave you guys to have that session, then I will do my presentation. Okay? Prince, did you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. We are getting someone to share the slide at the moment.
You don't necessarily need a slide to do that. That's what I'm saying. So you can save yourself some time. Just have a short introduction. Yeah, and let's move ahead. Yep. Okay.
Okay, sir. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for creating your time to be present in the second day of this wonderful webinar. I believe that today will be another memorable day, and I believe that all of us will leave here impacted with the knowledge from our guest speakers. Please sit tight and enjoy the program. Our first guest speaker for today is no other person than the young professional chairman of SDU YELLS section, Mr. Lucky Ememe, and he's already on the call. I would love you all to welcome him with a round of applause as he takes over from here.
Yeah, Prince, thank you. Please give me a co-host, right, so I can share my screen. Right. Yeah, please confirm you can see a single screen and not double screen. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Prince, and thank you, the various collaborating chapters for this invitation. I I do not take opportunities like this for granted because I was once standing in the position where you're standing. I was once a student chapter president of SP Novena University chapter a couple of years ago. I'll just give a brief story about me, and the stories I'm going to be sharing, we help to guide or we help to, pass the message across. I'll start off with when I entered university. I wasn't really thinking about becoming, of course, a chapter president. I was thinking, of getting good grades. I simply wanted good grades. If you knew me earlier or knew me when I was in school, and before I joined university, I did a diploma, and my diploma was just me, my academics, and my house. People would always call me bookworm. That's the kind of person I am. When it comes to academics, I put in my 100%. So things changed when I went back to the university to do my BSc, right? I wasn't the most connected, I wasn't the most loudest in school. Just like many of you, I was just trying to, figure life out. But one decision changed everything, and that was when I attended an SP meeting. I had no idea that, one meeting would completely redirect my future. And I'll start off with this opening quotes that says, empowering the next generation of engineers for strategic leadership, persistent innovation, and sustainable energy development is a big decision. It's thousands of small decisions repeated consistently. And that is why it is very important that, you are here today, because these are part of the decisions and the steps, the choices I made when I was in school that has, brought me to this place where I am currently. And I will keep sharing my story as we move forward. I started off as a student chapter member in school. When you join school, the Department of Energy and Petroleum Studies, where I graduated from, usually you would be mandated to register with SP because it's part of your it's part of your academics, but you're not necessarily obliged to be active with SP, right? So that was the position where I was. I just said, okay, let me just register with SP just because, just to fulfill the department's, requirement. And I was just there until I attended the one SP event. And that changed my perspective entirely. I wasn't very much of an active student. And then I saw what other student chapters were doing. I saw presentations, I saw energy challenges, and a lot of other things other student chapter were doing. And I left STSC 2020 with that feeling. Should I call it feeling of guilt inside of me? I was like, why is my chapter struggling? Mind you, at that point, we're at an all-time low membership recorded so far in terms of membership retention. And students didn't have much interest with us in SPE, nothing. Everything was just there. And then I saw a need, I saw a gap. I rose up to become chapter secretary the following year, and I still wasn't satisfied because I wasn't really in that position where I could, fill in that gap that I saw. And the following year, that's the third year, my final year in school. Mind you, I did diploma, right? I did direct entry to the university, so I had just 3 years to spend in school. My final year, I told myself that I wanted to become the SP chapter president for a chapter that was at the brink of collapsing, for a chapter that had almost zero program recorded. And I said I wanted to become a chapter president. Everybody was looking at me, Lucky, are you sure you know what you wanted to do? Because I've always been that student who, it's just my academics, go back home. Every day I'll go to class, I'll study. I just didn't want any distraction. And for me, or for people, taking on that extra responsibility was more like a distraction to Lucky. You're going to spend a lot of time on this. I said, yes, I knew. And I had this vision of what I wanted for the chapter. And what I did was to look for other people within the department to work with me to achieve that vision. I I beckoned on a few classmates of mine. I went, even to lower grades or lower level. They said, please, I need you guys on board. And mind you, I was looking at people who demonstrated excellence. They don't necessarily need to have all the skills in place, but they demonstrated excellence. And I brought them on board. I saw the vision to them. I even went as far as other departments. I saw the vision to them. I said, please, I want us to work together to bring back SP Novena University chapter to limelight. And they saw the passion with which I sold that vision to them, and they were willing to work with me. That same year, of course, I entered the race of chapter presidency uncontested because why? There were nobody who were even interested in becoming chapter president. And that was how that year I became a chapter president. The rest was history. There's a lot of story, along the journey, but I will just, because of time, narrow it down to few points that I'll be sharing with us. After then, we started with programs and all of that. We started doing things that were never done. Then we started, first of all, by growing membership. How do we grow membership? We started by looking at what students were very much interested in. We started looking at programs that, could feature some notable, renowned speakers across the energy industry. And those programs to eventually start motivating students to be part of SP Novena. We were able to accomplish that. We did community initiatives, a lot of programs with almost no fund, right? We leverage donations and all of that. A lot of things we were able to accomplish. But fast forward to after school, or before school, by the time I was leaving school, my chapter won the SP International Outstanding Award for the first time in the history of SP Novena University because of the things we were able to put together and because of the vision that I saw and because I saw a gap and I asked myself, how was I going to, fill in that gap? And I put myself in the front line with those amazing, amazing volunteers who took on that, initiatives with me and were able to bring the chapter from obscurity into limelight. Recorded one of the highest membership growth so far across SP International. We received the SP International Membership Recognition Award. We received the SP Nigeria Council Membership Award. And we happen to be the first student chapter in SP Warri section to have, won the SP International Award, breaking a record of over 30 years. That was that was the accomplishment of seeing a gap and being able to, provide solution. And that changed my entire journey going forward. I was still in my final year when the section nominated me to lead the ALP and Energy for Me team. You can see it in number 4 on the slide. And they were like, "Lucky, we saw what you did and we want you on board." I was still in school, so I was about transitioning to young professional membership. And that was how this, the then YP chairman spotted me and brought me on board. After I graduated, I was now part of the team, the young professional team. And that year, we were able to record the highest so far ALP and Energy for meeting ever learned in this section because of vision and because of outstanding people who, also worked with me. And after then, it didn't stop. The next YP chair came on board. I was like, "Lucky, please, we need you on board. We've seen your trajectory and we want you to transform the career and technical subcommittee." And mind you, this was a new subcommittee that was initiated. And from there, we're able to execute 22 impactful Energy for Me programs, broke all-time records. For these two teams I led, our programs significantly contributed to our section YP winning the what's it called, the SP Nigeria Council Most Improved Young Professional section. And fast forward to 2025, when the opportunity came for a YP chair to be nominated, I became the person at the forerunner to be nominated. It was very early for me. A lot of people were saying why Lucky? Lucky just finished school 2 years ago. It is the fastest any young professional could rise in this section to become a YP chair, just because of that single act while I was in school. This takes me to the next slide. What are those things? What are those things you're currently doing now? And how are they currently shaping your leadership journey? I tell people leaders are not born a day. Leadership is a continuous process, and sometimes the little decisions you make, they may not be very significant at that particular time, but they are adding up to the overall, makeup, the overall items that make you a leader going forward. I started off, like I said, secretary. I started off with administrative work in chapter, shifted to presidency. Now I'm now managing a number of people, right? Like I told you earlier, that's the milestone we recorded just in a nutshell. Membership increased by over 400%. And these are the amazing people that I was able to bring aboard. Some of them, it was our first time in SP. Some of them, they joined SP just because of Lucky. Oh, Lucky, you know, Lucky, I have this huge respect for Lucky. Let me just join. And I will tell you how their life also transformed going forward. The greatest satisfaction for me wasn't winning awards. I didn't set out just to win award. It was seeing students become leaders themselves. Some of those students are now chapter presidents, you know. That is leadership. And some of them have risen up the rank from chapter presidency to young professional leadership. The ultimate pivot in career acceleration is switching the primary focus from yourself to community, to people. How do you help people grow? How do you help provide solution? How do you help bring change? That is what leadership is about. Stop asking, how can I become successful? And start asking, who can become successful because of me? What are the processes that can change just because of my single act? Offering deliberate career mentorship, specialized talks, and strategic international collaboration, those were some of the things we brought to the fore. What are you currently bringing? When Prince reached out to me for this program, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I just went back to when I was in school. And mind you, that's just 3 years ago. That's just 3 years ago when I left school. This is an example of the chain, of the trajectory of some of those people who started off with me when I was in the chapter president. That was me in the first photo, handing over the baton to Chinedu. Chinedu now later became the chapter president. These were people that I brought in on board, on board to SP. And you could see the new board. You could see some of those members, right? Let me try to use my pointer. Okay. Okay, let me just leave that. You could see some of the people that were brought on board. And if you take a look at this, this particular picture here, you see AB. AB eventually became the chapter president of Novena University chapter. And currently, she works with me in the Young Professional Leadership Board as co-ALP lead for SP Worry section. That same position I held 2 years ago. That's the same position she's holding. And you could see Christabel and Jeje Emmanuel as now the content creator leads of within SP Worry section. These were people back then when I was in school. Even after school, they continued. And that is the legacy that you bring when you, you take away the focus from self to people around you, right? Now, here brings us to innovation and problem solving. Innovation, like I put here, is about solving problem. What are the problems you're currently solving in your student chapter, in your classroom, amongst your friends, even in your religious organizations? What are the problems that you're currently solving? Are you able to think outside the box and provide solution? This is just my transition journey. After post-graduation, I immersed myself in operations, planning, and drilling projects. And I quickly realized that companies don't pay for pure theoretical ideas. They pay for real-world solutions that reduce downtime and optimize costs. And one of the ways I was able to get this was through some of the exposure I had when I was in school, my student chapter experiences, and also I got the opportunity to do my internship with Shell. I will also bring that again as we move forward and some of the opportunities I got by just being able to provide solution. That wasn't the intention, but it came as aspects along the line, right? Focusing heavily on, I focus on integrated activity planning after school, system process optimization, you know, and, just keep building myself in the line in a particular niche that I feel or like that I I've been exposed to and I've seen gap there again. So when I did my internship this year, I was posted to the technical planning team. And when I was there, I developed a new interest, right? So that's why it's very important. Again, if you are in students chapters, you are still in school, please find opportunity to do your internships. It's very important. It's going to expose, even if it's not being paid. I did a couple of internships. My undergraduate studies, I did 4 internships. Out of the 4 internships, only 2 were paid. The 2 others were not paid, but because I'm the kind of person who likes to challenge myself and grow. So that should be your mindset. Leadership mindset is growth mindset. How are you able to grow personally? How are you able to grow people around you? That is leadership. It's sustainable energy framework that I put here. Now, there is a Venn diagram there, and you can see at the middle of it, future energy leaders. Now, it's a whole round cycle. You have to be well grounded technically, leadership capacity as well, and people skill. How are you able to manage people? How are you able to grow people? At the center of these 3 characteristics is the future energy leaders. Thriving in a complex landscape of global energy transition demands a balance in this triad. Technical skills may get you hired, very brilliant, very, very intelligent. You pass the aptitude test and you're now a graduate trainee with XYZ company. What will keep you there? It's not just your skill, it is how you are able to lead. Leading yourself, first of all, because you cannot lead people without, first of all, leading yourself. Your leadership and relational capacity determines your ultimate height. That is what progresses you forward. I'll give you an example of that. So during my internship, and I had the opportunity to meet my boss, my supervisor then. And when I got to his office, it was the first time of us meeting. He looked at me and was like, "Oh, Lucky, how are you? Welcome to the team." I said, "Fine. Thank you, sir." And he just pointed on the table. He said, "Lucky, that's SP Nigeria. I'm very busy now. Can you just take a few minutes to just, go through it?" And I turned back at him and I say, "Sir, I've read that NICE journal. Mind you, I attended NICE that same year or the previous year, and that was the journal on the table." I was like, "Really? So you're an SP member?" I say, "Yes, I'm the chapter president of SP Novena University." And that was the spark, or the spark that I needed. And from someone who was very busy on his screen, he paused and took a time off the screen and said, okay, let's talk. We started talking. "Oh, fantastic. I love this. I love that for you. I love this. I love that for you." And that was how I became close friends with my supervisor during my internship days. And it didn't end there. I continued the relationship. I continued, providing value as well. So for every relationship you build, always be in a position to provide value. I provided value. And fast forward to 2024, when I needed to go for my national youth service, you know, of course, I I was looking for a place where I could do my service. Most of you, I understand, most of you here, some of you will be like, "Oh, I don't want to do my service in the school. I want to do it in an organization that I can get, some exposure and get some experiences." Fine, that's a fantastic, beautiful, thing to think about. What I did was to leverage on my relationship. And I kept calling. I kept calling some of my supervisors then when I did my internship. I was like, sir, um, I'm now I'm about to going for my service. Please, I will need recommendation to organizations to do my internship and all of that. And my supervisor then said, say no more. And that was how I contacted the company where I had, worked before I left quite recently. And that was I did my service in Port Harcourt. Guess what? It was the same job role that I did when I was doing my internship. That was also what I built on this job because this job was quite similar to technical planning and integration. And when this MD of this company saw my CV and he was like, "Oh, you've done IAP and technical planning." I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Wow, this role is for you." And I started that role 2024 up until 2025. 2025, early 2026. After my NYC, I got retained and, the rest was history. Why am I saying this? Building technical skill is very important along your journey of leadership. While you're also developing yourself, your leadership capacity, trying to solve problems, also build your technical. When I say build your technical skill, I'm not saying you should rely solely on your academics. There is a world outside academics, and that is the world you're going to see after academics. And it is a world that is controlled by what? By skills, technical skills, right? So that's that. So 5 career lessons I put here. Number 1, leap early, right? Start before you think you are fully prepared. There's no perfect time. You want to build that skill, there is no perfect time. It is now. You want to volunteer in that space, you want to bring some change, the perfect time is that there's no perfect time. So always learn to start early. Volunteer. I don't think I can overemphasize that. Volunteer, offer skill, offer value. And when I say volunteer, I'm not saying that you should just occupy space because that's what a lot of people do. They just sign up and say, "Oh, I want to become this," and they become redundant over the time. Offer value and don't just offer value. Let your work speak for you. Dissociate yourself from the crowd. You can be volunteering in a team, but let it be that you're known for a particular value. Don't be overshadowed by the team's success. Let your work also speak for you, right? I've given you examples already of myself and the people who worked in the same team as I did. Network. Volunteering and networking goes hand in hand because by volunteering, you get to network, especially with SPE. There are a lot of other organizations, social, non-profit organizations that you can also volunteer with. While you're doing that, you're also networking. While you're doing that, you're also gaining visibility. So both comes in hand in hand. And please, when you network, please create value and provide value. Consistency outperforms talent. Small actions compounded generate huge results. Consistency. Don't ever drop the baton. Don't feel like you're not being recognized. Don't feel like your work is not doing enough for you and you drop the baton. That is where you start going back. You start retrogressing. Just keep pushing. Keep offering value. Keep offering consistency. And the time will come when you'll be recognized. And stay curious. In fact, you cannot be in the industry, you cannot be in the energy industry and not be curious. Because why? Things are changing every day, every day. So never halt the learning curve. always keep yourself updated with the latest trend and the latest technology in the industry because the landscape shifts rapidly. Your leadership growth highway. I titled this slide. Now, how do you grow? And how does your growth look like? Now, growth is meant to be consistent, meant to be progressive, right? You don't jump from point A to point Z. It's never possible, right? I've given you an example. Sometimes it takes a long time. For me, it took 3 years to even become the young professional chair of SPY section. For a lot of people, it took 5 years, it took 7 years, it took longer. So you must be willing to be patient. And while being patient, you are consistent. Right, I wrote here direct gateways. I said global collaboration, speaker roles, robust mentorship, and unparalleled professional visibility. Those are some of the things you can do while you're growing. Some of the things that can position you at that point where you gain visibility, and some of those things that can, help scale your growth, right? Attend events, attend symposium, attend lectures, attend technical meetings. Like I told you, the first thing that changed my career trajectory was the first SPE meeting I attended. If I was never in that meeting, I don't know, I may not have been here, right? Also, something also changed in my career journey. So from the meeting I attended, I got to learn about, LinkedIn visibility, growing your LinkedIn network and all of that. A lot of things I learned. And that same year, I went back to my LinkedIn. I started revamping my LinkedIn, started creating visibility. It was 2 years or a year after I saw the vacancy for undergraduate internship application to Shell. Yeah, it was on LinkedIn. I saw that application, can remember vividly. And I just applied like every other person. I was like, oh my God, all these people, they've come again. The usual mindset, oh, we have to be connected to get to some places and all of that. I said, okay, no harm in applying. I just applied. 3 weeks later, I got a mail from Shell. When I even got the mail, I was now verifying the mail. Started asking people, please, are you sure this mail is legit? Then I called on, young professional from Worry section then, and I said, sir, you worked with Shell before. Please help me verify this mail. Is this mail actually genuine? And he said, oh, lucky, please, this mail is genuine. Just, in fact, respond immediately. That was how, you know, that was how far my disbelief was. It was like, Shell will call me. How? How now? How? But it was real. Now, look at that one step, just one step, and look at the aftermath of events that followed. As you're volunteering as a student chapter member currently, while you're volunteering, also have a bigger picture in mind in growing yourself from active student volunteering to chapter and section officers to regional executives, and the list just goes endless as you keep going. This is an example of what I showed or what I've already said. This was my journey with Shell. This was another journey with some of the volunteers with me. We attended the SP Worry section, annual technical symposium. And fast forward to 2024, after graduation, I was invited to give a talk at the annual technical symposium and exhibition of SP Nigeria Council at University of Uyo. That was because of visibility. People saw what I've been able to accomplish over a short period of time. This was me receiving an award from this section. Everything happened so fast, so fast. What will your story be? That's the question I'm leaving with you today. Your future isn't decided after graduation. It is decided by the choices, the tiny choices you make while you are still a student. Those little extra skills, Excel skill you add, PowerPoint presentation skill you add, that value you created in school. Those are the choices that all cumulate together into building successful leadership going forward. Because those skills, you're going to need them in the future. Those values you rendered, they are going to form your lifeline for the next step ahead of you. You will still be lingering on the sidelines of active leadership, thinking it is two ways. It is either I wish I had stepped forward and joined back then. I wish I had provided that value. I wish I was able to, get out of my head and become that person that was needed at that particular time, provide those values. Or you could think, I wish I had stepped out of my shell and volunteered. So you keep yourself in that wish cycle. Like I had some of my classmates who reached out to me after school. They'd be like, "Look, this SP thing, we took it very seriously." I said, "I didn't know I was going to get this far. I just needed to start." Taking it so far, look how far you've gone. You're presenting, you are here today, you are here tomorrow, you are just leading a lot of SP events and all of that. You are now the young professional chair of SP Voice. So I was like, I didn't know I was going to get here. If you never try, if you never get yourself out there, you would never know the capacity. You would never know how far you would go. Today, I'm challenging you to choose action. Instead of carrying a backlog of regrets or regrets later on, initiate the groundwork today. Prepare to share your own breakthrough success tomorrow, just like I'm doing. Your final challenge. Number one, join a professional community today. If you are not an active member of SP, please become an active member. Volunteer your expertise. Some persons are very good at graphics design. I remember back then I had to go and pull, one of my schoolmates from a department, not like from a different department. Please, I need you to come and help us design. Please just come and volunteer your skill with SP. And that was how I brought in the designer who designed our all of our programs free while we were in school. Some of you, your passion could be public speaking. Why not join and, moderate events, right? You have several passions within SP, within volunteering, you can help to build some of those passions. Sometimes those passion becomes, career pathways for you going forward. Initiate a meeting with an inspiring mentor. Yeah, try to do that after now. Empower people, be there to always mentor and help a fellow student succeed. Always, always, always put yourself second. I'm not saying you should always put yourself behind. No, I mean, when you're thinking all the time, you should always think of how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? By so doing, you're putting people at the fore, and that's what leadership is about. Leadership is built intentionally. Yeah. Block by block, step by step, starting right now. Commit to taking concrete actions, steps forward before this calendar month ends. That's the challenge I'm giving to you, to every one of you today. And thank you for listening. My name is Lucky Ememia.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that wonderful session. I believe a lot of us here have learned one or two, not even one or two. A lot of value has been shared by Engineer Lucky. Thank you so, so, so much. I always knew that today's session would be wonderful and great. Thank you so much. I believe a lot of you have questions to ask concerning leadership, innovation, what steps you should take, how you should navigate your leadership skills and your leadership journey, which now takes us to the question, the Q&A session. And the Q&A session, please, next slide. The Q&A section will be handled by no other than the SPUNN president, Ogbonna Ikechukwu. Ikechukwu, please, are you on the call?
Yeah, I'm on the call.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ikechukwu, as earlier stated. So I'll be handling the question and answer session. So if you have any questions, you can send your questions in the chat box. You can raise your hand. I would like to also use this opportunity to appreciate Engineer Lucky for such a wonderful session. Really appreciate you, sir. And yeah, to the rest of the audience, if you have any questions, anything at all you want to know concerning this session, you can always raise your hands and you can always unmute this speak or drop in the chat box. So yeah, we'll be having 5 minutes for the question and answer session. So question and answer session will end by 5:57. Yes. Okay. So I'm seeing that nobody has any questions yet. I was hoping to see a lot of people with a lot of questions. So,
Okay. My question, I have a question.
all right, go ahead.
So, sir, what were the challenges you faced, the earlier challenges you faced, when you were the president of a chapter that was at the brink of collapsing? What challenges did you face, and what were the possible steps you took? What were the steps you took in order for you to achieve this great achievement you did during your time?
Yeah, thank you, Prince, for the question. Confirm you can hear me. Please confirm that you can hear me. Okay. So, of course, you're taking on a chapter that was at the brink of collapsing. There are a lot of challenges, right? Ranging from financial challenges, right? Ranging from student apathy, right? So they were not interested in SP activity. In fact, if you go to, I mentioned SP, they'll be like, what's SP? That was how bad it was, right? And how did we come about, changing the narrative? I mentioned during my presentation, if you listened properly, I mentioned at a place where we start looking at what interests students. What are the things that interest students? Students are usually interested when they see renowned leaders, somebody who they look up to in the industry, and you invite them to come and give a talk. Students will want to listen to them. And of course, it was free. So that was what we looked at. We looked at events that students would be very much interested in. I remember one of our very first events was in data analytics training on Excel. Students love hands-on training, and some of them, they love something that takes them outside the core, academic theoretical work. And we looked at Excel as on the data analytics, on chart, and say this is what students will be interested. And we asked a couple of students, will you be interested in a data analytics training on Excel? They were like, why not? They were interested, and we did that event. It was a virtual event, went from class to class to sensitize them about the event, and that event attracted for the first time 20 participants. That was a start. It was a start. 20 participants on that training. Then we brought again another event where this time we invited renowned speakers from across the industry. Um, we invited speakers from the UK, speakers from Shell, speakers across, several value chain of the energy industry to come and give a talk. And that event blew up our attendance. We recorded the all-time highest of over 50 students turn up for that event. Mind you, those students are mostly students within Novena University. And by so doing, conscious effort of doing events that, target some of those technical gaps in our students and bringing some things that students are easily interested in. So they start gaining confidence in SPA. Like, oh, SPA has done one event and it was very interesting, very impactful. You did another one. And that was how we continue to grow and continue to scale our attendance for events. And in terms of finance, um, that I can't tell you there was a particular thing we did different from every other person because why? I keep telling people, I say the first thing, if you have a vision, the first aid, something that will aid that vision is not really finance. It is the passion. So we started off with, looking for those areas in our programs that we can greatly subsidize the cost. For instance, I told you we brought in a designer on board, somebody who could help us design our flyers for free, a student member as well, right? A group of volunteers that were very passionate as well. We're also there to support. Sometimes someone will go for outreaches. They were willing to take some money out of their, allowances and support the outreach. To say, well, let's, I'm going to donate 1,000, I'm going to donate 2,000, I'm going to donate 3,000, and we'll pull them together to get some stationaries for school students in secondary schools, sometimes in primary schools on the developed areas, just to reach out to students. It came from people because people will see the idea. People see your vision is genuine enough, and they see the drive at which you're going. There are people who would genuinely invest in your idea. And that was the privilege I had when I was in school. But with time, things got better, right? We started getting more funds for our events, of course. So they started paying dues for the ISP event, and the department was willing to, release some of those funds for us to do some of our event because why? They now saw that this leadership, this particular tenure, we are willing to offer value and they were able to release some of those funds for us to do some of our events. You could just go and check, I think I documented all of these programs on our SP LinkedIn platform. You could go way back as 2023 to see some of those things we were able to achieve. And I think I'll just use those two as an example because of time. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Prince.
Yes, thank you very much. I have another question. You stated earlier, which I've also read in your bio, you stated that, and it's also in your bio that you won the SPE International Award, which is the highest award that any chapter we dream of winning. How did you go about it? What are the types of programs you shifted your focus to, and how were you able to navigate through it all?
Okay, fine. So then, when I was in school, the the presidential award was an holistic award, right? The award took a look at membership growth, development, technical development programs, professional dissemination programs, community outreach, like all round, success. But now, currently, I understand that there's now a split, right? You can win presidential award for outstanding professional dissemination programs, technical dissemination programs. So it's now split. But then it was a whole holistic view into the chapter success. There's no, how do I put it? There's no special way to win the presidential award than those measurable impacts that you've been able to achieve in your chapter. How are you able to grow your membership? Because for you to grow your membership, you have to be able to get people to that point whereby they are interested in SP. And how can that happen? Through those programs. For instance, you are doing this program, fantastic program. You have a number of students on this call. You're growing your membership, your professional events, community related events, community. How are you able to reach out to nooks and crannies of your community, which your school is established? Outside those schools, what are how the communities are you able to? We did orphanage visitation, we did energy for me outreaches to very, very rural areas, schools in rural areas, right? So those are the things you do. And again, the aftermath is how to now put your reports together. Your report has to be able to holistically capture all the things you've done, right? Usually, they'll put out a report for chapters to submit their reports, SP International, for chapters to submit the reports to SP International. So you have to make sure that before that deadline, you've started putting your reports. For us, we started 2 months before the deadline for the report submission. That means we had enough time to put the team together to sit down and draft our reports. We made sure that there was no stone left unturned. And, and one of the reasons why we're able to do that is because we'll be keeping record of our activity, we'll be keeping record of our programs. We keep summaries of our programs, attendance recorded, impact of the program, and all of that. So when the time came for us to put all of those together, it was very easy. So again, how you were able to impact your community, your student member, one aspect, and how again you're able to translate that into a report that captures your impact. That's the other. That's the two sides to winning the SPIN presentation. Now it's even easier, right? Because now you can now say, okay, we did more technical program, we got more impact in terms of our technical dissemination programs. Let's focus on technical dissemination to apply for this award. So you cannot narrow it down, right? So that's just the way it is. Prince, I'll be happy to discuss this with you outside the call. Should you have further questions on this because of time and the other participant that would want to ask questions.
Thank you very much, sir. I think there's a question in the chat box. So, Ikechukwu, over to you.
Okay, so I'm looking at the chat. I saw two questions, but I think I'll just take both and give like a very short answer so that everyone is heard, but we are way beyond time. So the first one says, what would you say to a below average student trying to improve his grades and at the same time considering working on his technical competence in preparation for the industry? That's by Mr. Abdul Qadri Bello. So
Okay. So an average student, there's something I don't tell myself, or if you're around me, I'll tell you, don't tell yourself that. I believe that there is really no average student. Yeah, I believe there's no average student. I believe that you can move from being an average student to an high flyer student. Why do I say so? Whatever time you put into something, but the quality of time you put into anything, it is that same quality of output you're going to get. So if you're in school, if you put in less time into academics, of course, you know what the results will turn out to be. We put in more time. I know there's been studies, research that some people have higher IQ, higher intelligence than others, blah blah blah, all of those many stories. But I've seen students who rose up from becoming, or they thought they didn't know so much, right? They rose up from that and becoming, one of the best in school. So it is possible, right? So that aside, how can you do that? And what are those other things you can do to balance your academics? please and please and please, while you are in school, um, people don't really emphasize this very much. Please develop your skill. When I mean skill, technical skill. Yeah, for me then, while I was in school, I was juggling, some YouTube videos on data analytics. I was very much interested in data analytics. Yeah. So I would do a lot of Excel, YouTube videos, learning, PowerPoint presentation. I was so very good PowerPoint presentation when I was in school because I deliberately cultivated those skill. People would just reach out to me for that presentation. Oh, look, please, I need guide on this and that. Now it's even easier because why? There are AIs that can help you do your slides and all of that. That aside, so what are you most interested in the industry? What is the area you want? What's the area you want your career to pivot into? For me, I after my internship with Shell, I loved technical planning and integration, IAP. People will tell you that, oh, it's not the first, shouldn't be your first career start point. You should start with some very key technical, but I didn't have the opportunity. So the opportunity I had was, the exposure in IAP planning, technical planning, project planning, and all of that, and projects. And that was what I built my career around. I started focusing on some of those tools, your Primavera tool. I was learning that while I was in school, outside my academics, because nobody's going to teach you in school. I was learning Primavera, I was learning Microsoft Project, I was learning all the planning projects, all the Orishi tool. Excel again, very, very important. So after school, I also took like a 6 months boot camp training on data analytics. And trust me, when I got my first opportunity to work as a copper, those were the skill that were my lifeline, especially Excel. I grew from basic when I was in school to advanced level using Excel for data analytics. And those were the lifeline that even currently on my job, those are the skills that are still helping me. So you have to look at the areas that you envision your career to go towards. You cannot learn everything. So pick an area you're interested in, then grow your skill in that direction. I think that's I hope that answers your question. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Um, sorry, excuse me. Okay, so does that answer your question, Mr. Bello? Hello, Mr. Bello, can you hear me?
Yeah, he has confirmed. He said yes. Hmm.
Okay, okay, cool. All right, so for the last question, it's by Mr. Favorite, pardon me, my favorite school, and it says, "Thank you so much, sir. What would be your suggestion to the chapter passing through the stage of financial challenges for some of their upcoming events?"
Yeah, I think I've mentioned that already while I was responding to Prince. Please prioritize events that may not necessarily require a lot of finances. I told you the very first event we did, we didn't use, it was zero finance, right? The second event we did zero finance because why? It was virtual event. Those two events were virtual events. Um, for the design, we employed the use of somebody within the chapter who did that for us free. There's always a way. I cannot say the model that worked for me will work for you because every chapter they have their own unique challenges, right? So you have to look in, you have to be able to internalize those gaps and say, how can we go about it? For my chapter, then, students usually pay local dues of, I think, around 1,500 local dues to SP, as part of you registering with the department. So those local dues helped us along after we must have, done a couple of programs which we didn't rely on the finance from the chapter because, of course, they were not willing to disburse any fund for us. They say, SP, people, what are you doing with the funds? We've not seen any programs for the last 6, 7 months. We've not seen any improvement. So we needed to show capacity before we could even get to that point where the department was willing to, give us some funds for our events. So look at programs, leverage programs that don't necessarily require a lot of capital for you to execute. And look at areas of sponsorship as well. Individual sponsorship, corporate sponsorship. Look at those areas. Who are those well-meaning people within the chapter, outside the chapter, that you can sell some vision to, and they'll be willing to support. Yeah, there are people we can support. And again, leverage collaboration with other student chapters. Sometimes you may not have the resources, another student chapter have resources. Why don't you put yourself together, collaborate with them, and say, okay, you bring the financial resources. We're going to bring in the Zoom meeting link. We're going to bring in the design, because we have somebody who can design for us free. And we're also going to bring the attendance. We're also going to source for the speakers. Pull resources together to do some of those programs. Collaboration is also a key. Looking at way to optimize costs by looking at programs, how you can, reduce costing of your program is also key. Again, sponsorship, collaboration. I've already mentioned that. So those are the 3 areas you can look into as a student chapter struggling with finance. Yeah, I think that answers your question. Yeah. Ikechukwu, I hope you
Yeah, I can
see.
hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. So yeah, thank you very much, sir, for your answers. Thank you very much. I believe that wraps up our question and answer session. We are way beyond time. So yeah, thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate the session and your answers.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
All right, so Divine Lights.
Okay, thank you so much, Sam. Thank you so much for a wonderful session. Sir, please, I would appreciate it if you can drop your LinkedIn handle. So a lot of us that wants to connect with you, maybe reach out to you for advice, mentorship, and so on. Because I know a lot of us here wants to connect with you. I would really appreciate it if you can drop your LinkedIn at the chat box so we can connect with
Okay.
you.
Okay, my LinkedIn is just the same as my name, right? My name is Lucky Akboviri Emiemie. So that's my LinkedIn name. I'm just going to drop the full name on the chat box. You can just search for me on LinkedIn. You'll be able to find me. Yep.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That is wonderful to hear, sir. So, for those of us that wants to reach out to Engineer Lucky, just ask Lucky Mieme, and you can connect with him. You can reach out to him for mentorship and so on. So, thank you very much, sir. God bless you. We look forward to having you again as a guest speaker in one of our programs. Thank you so much for an impactful section. Thank you so much. God bless you, and I pray that God keeps filling you with more knowledge. Thank you, sir. So the next slide. So we'll be moving over to the second part of this section, which is and we're calling on Abdul Jalil Salisu Osman to
Yeah,
introduce
thank
our
you, sir.
guest. Are you on the call?
Yes, I'm around.
Okay. Please take over from here.
So thank you so much to our guest speaker. I believe you have really done even more than justice to everything that was asked you. Thank you so much. And I was the one who asked about that financial support. So I'm very grateful for your answer. My name is Abdul Jalil Salis Usman. I'm the president of our great chapter SPEB Wiki. So to our second speaker, Dr. Jute Osimobi, PhD, PMP, is the recipient of the prestigious 2023 SP Africa Regional Formation Evaluation Award and the 2022 NAPE Best Technical Paper Geophysics Award. He is an earth and environmental scientist, energy strategist, and certified project management professional with over 15 years of experience in exploration, geophysics, reservoir characterization, subsurface evaluation, and business leadership. He holds a BSc in physics from Delta State University, an MSc in petroleum geophysics from Imperial College, London, and both an MSc and PhD in environmental radiation physics from the University of Port Harcourt. Dr. Osimobi currently serves as exploration portfolio and strategy lead at Renaissance Africa Energy Company, leading enterprise-wide exploration strategy, portfolio optimization, and opportunity maturation across a diverse asset portfolio. Prior to this, he held several technical and leadership roles at Shell, spanning seismic acquisition and processing, reservoir geophysics, subsurface studies, capability development, and business advisory. A published researcher, mentor, and visiting lecturer at the Center of Excellence in Geosciences and Petroleum Engineering, University of Benin, Dr. Osimobi is passionate about developing future industry leaders and advancing geoscience excellence across Africa. Thank you so much. We are blessed to have you, sir.
Thanks very much for the introduction, and thanks everyone. I have been on the call. It's becoming weary, but I'll try and keep this short because I also know that people have been kept a bit too long as well. So I'll try my very best to keep it short. And I listened quite keenly to Lucky's presentation. I thought that those were very practical nuggets. I want to believe that that was also helpful, coming from a perspective from someone that I've practiced and seen this in recent times. I'm bringing it up. Good evening, everyone, and it's an honor to be in this conversation. I really wanted to be here, despite all odds. It's been a very busy period. But building the capacity for tomorrow is very critical. And for us at Renaissance, I bring you fraternal greetings from the Vice President Exploration. And if you know our MD CEO, Tony Atta, you know that he always very passionate about growth. And for us, we know that a lot of us here in the near future will be with us at Renaissance, drilling more successful exploration wells, as you heard in the news in recent times, and most importantly, helping our nation in the hydrocarbon as we desire it. We're ramping up at Renaissance as part of our ambition to get to 500,000 barrels of oil, 2.2 BCF of export gas, and 1 billion barrels of BCF rather of domestic gas. And we all are enjoying to join in this journey, whether you're still a student, you start thinking about it, whether you're a YP, you start pivoting in the direction, and whether you're an experienced person on the call. Renaissance is a place to be. I'm sure we all know that. And that is it for Renaissance, in our vision to create the Africa leading energy company. So it ties to the team on Young Energies for Leadership. That's our Renaissance culture. And we do this innovatively. We do quite a lot of diverse things, both in tech and both in how we do our business, in our ways of working, in our continuous improvement. And I really want to tell you to continue to do that. And one of our mantras is to do things sustainably. Sustainability is key, not just production for today, production for tomorrow. And that's why for over 18 years, we have over 10 years, we haven't drilled an exploration well. And Renaissance have chosen to do that for the nation. Just to lay out everything you've listened to today, I'll spend about 5-10 minutes and be very happy to take any practical questions. I'd like to introduce you to 5Gs. I was just on top of my head this morning and said, what am I going to share? I can be very freestyle. I can just get on certain things and talk through them. And luckily, I was on the radio. Maybe some people were also on the same channel, so it might not be so new if we stumble on the same subject we're discussing. And it kind of helped me to shape the conversation of today, because the leadership, the innovation, and the sustainability that we preach and talk about, both in Renaissance and both what SPE does. I was also the technical chair for Port Harcourt, section 103 for 2 terms. I also play in that role, doing all manner of activity to help grow this chapter and also the national. So you see that everything is pivoting for the future. And for us, as a nation, there are very distinct things we must do. We must continue to do. We need to, first of all, we have to get serious. And when I say get serious, it sounds very, casual, but it's as deep as it can be. So I want to speak to anybody on this call, whether you're a YP or a student, just get serious. The road ahead, the journey of life, the journey of development, the journey of leadership and innovation, and doing that sustainably, it's not an easy journey. If anybody tells you it's easy, it's a joke. So whatever level of, and I use the chess image to kind of represent that, because when you get serious at chess, and if you focus against your opponent, then that's when you can win, actually. If you're not serious, there's a chance that you will not win. So get serious. Get serious with whatever you are doing. Get serious with your academics. Just say to yourself, I want to be serious. I want to be serious with every commitment I have to make. And that's why I want to say, first start is to get serious. As soon as you get serious, you find yourself that you want to get smart. And the idea behind getting smart is you want to read, you want to study, you want to be in programs like this, you want to enrich yourself. So just get smart. No, there's no word about it. Just be smart. Be smart at what you do. Do it smartly, do it intelligently. Just get smart. Get into your head things that you need to talk, to read, to study, everything you need to do. Just be smart at it. And that's very important. So your students, whatever course you're studying, get smart. Study, bend down, because you're serious. You find out that the appetite and the energy for you to want to get smart is there. And in the course of getting smart, it helps you put your thoughts together. But that's not enough. You learn a lot of things, you practice a lot of things, but you need to get action. You need to get going. You need to take action. Where does this lead me to? Right now, I have this knowledge. Where does it take me to? How do I find the right job opportunity if I choose to practice? How do I go next if I want to further my studies? You need to take action to that. You've read through something, we've read through something, you need to take action. And Lucky has spent quite some time saying some of his life hacks and nuggets. What actions are you taking? It's never enough. You must take action. You must step out there. You must do it. And don't be worried. Don't be wary of if I fail. That's how you learn. That's not the problem. We all have learned, in failing, in taking actions. I speak to you today with all humility, and you can imagine when he read through so it looks like, oh, this young man, just likes to study. That's not correct. I left school in 2008, and for whole 8 years, I didn't have a job, and it's all part of it. But in between that period of joblessness, I was merely studying. I did my first master's. I got a scholarship to Imperial College. I started a PhD. Right, so you keep taking actions, and it took 8 years. But today, my folks and my friends, they say to me that you seem to have planned your life the best, but I didn't. I was just taking every action, whether it's project management, whether it's diploma, just keep going, keep taking action. But get very excited of your skills and get excited of your wins. They might be little, but don't despise your little beginnings, right? Be excited at what you do. Be excited at the skills you have. Be excited at the impact you make. Celebrate it and build on it. And then continually grow, baby steps, like a step, you begin to grow. We weren't, where we are today. We didn't fall from the sky. It took years of meticulous getting serious, years of meticulous getting knowledge to be smart, years of meticulous taking actions and failing and succeeding, and also being excited that this is the skill I have, this is what I can do, this is what I can bring in. It's exciting, because if you don't also get excited at what you do, nobody's going to be excited, right? So physics wouldn't be an exciting skill if we don't make it exciting. Geology wouldn't, engineering wouldn't. So you get excited and then you celebrate. And one thing I've learned, especially through COVID, and now we used to take work-life balance or as a joke, and that's the last bit I like to share. No, you need to get away, whatever that means. Reflections, rest, sleep, because you need to recharge. You need to find time. So when you hear work-life balance, my interviews, I find myself asking folks, what do you do for leisure? And some just think, is that a trick question? No, because leisure is part of your success. In fact, if you don't know how to exercise, how to get away, how to recharge, you cannot actually lead. You cannot think. Most of the ideas that come to you come when you're taking a random walk, when you're napping, when you're half awake. That's how creativity comes. So being a leader also means you need your physical strength and your body to be able to take on that. So while you get on this journey, some of these things might not make all the sense at the moment because we are all in different spaces. But I need you to keep it in mind, the 5 Gs. You must get serious. And I really mean that, get serious, right? You must own your technical space. At this point, if you're still in school, there's no babying about it. If you're not making a first class 2-1, then you're not ready to work in certain areas. And that doesn't mean you won't succeed in life, but it's your choice. And you must change that choice if you choose otherwise, right? Aradel, Seplat, Renaissance, Shell, they've all been recruiting. It's 2-1 on nothing. So you've played yourself at disadvantage. And if you're a young professional, you're not thinking in that direction, you're not ready, it's a choice. And some people, can also succeed. That doesn't mean anything, I'm just saying. And if you don't continually grow and do things that can elevate, and being smart and growth might not even be you reading books all the time. It might just be you listening and learning. It might just be you doing things that you are not used to, right? You're not used to it, and they say, who can help us organize this event? You don't know how, but you want to learn. You get yourself into that space, and then you learn how to do it. And then you do it 2 times, 3 times, and then you're leading it. That's how you lead. You must get involved. You must take action. You must get excited at the skills and be eager to practice it. And you must rest. I'll stop here. I know you've had a very long day. I stayed on the call for over an hour, so I can see I don't know how long you've been here. But if there are any burning questions, reflections, thoughts, I'll be happy to hang around another 5-10 minutes. Let's see how this goes. Because I'm very particular about the future, right? And that's why it's good to make our time to speak to us in events like this. And SP is a wonderful place that gives you that opportunity to learn without having to be far, to go somewhere far. So it's just at your doorstep. And that's the value with being an SP member. I do encourage you. All right, back to you. Is that Prince? And thanks for that.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much. Thank you much. Please, a round of applause for Dr. Jude. A round of applause for Dr. Jude.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you much. I believe that these few minutes you spent with us, it will be an eye-opener for a lot of us, including me as well. Get serious, get smart, get going, get excited, get away. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So please, if you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions. Mr. Bellu, can you please share your slide? If you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions. We'll be moving over to the next section, the Q&A session. Mr. Bellu, are you on the call? Okay, so we'll be moving over to the Q&A session. Please, next slide. And the Q&A session will be taken by Echazo Divine, the SP President of Uniport. Divine, are you on the call? Divine, are you on the call? Okay, it seems Divine is not on the call, so I'll take the Q&A session. Please, if you have any question, feel free to drop the question in the chat box or simply raise your hand and I will let you speak. Please, we have just 5 minutes. Dr. Jude is a very busy person.
No, it's fine, Prince. No pressure. Let's if there are conversation, we can have it. Or was I very boring? Was I not heard very, or was it very clear, or wasn't very clear? It's very quiet in here, folks. Are we together? Okay, I don't see anybody, any takers. I don't see any questions. So should I assume it was all clear, or it's become a long day? Prince, you've kept people quiet for the whole Saturday. I hope you send them virtual and chops and snacks.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. I believe a lot of us here have received a lot of knowledge. A lot of us here have been impacted. A lot of us here, we leave this call, we leave this webinar with 18 or 2. A lot of us here will leave this webinar with the knowledge from Mr. Lucky and from Dr. Jude. And I believe a lot of us here will volunteer more, provide value in any area we find ourselves. So thank you all for coming. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. It's wonderful.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you
I'll
so
drop
much.
it down. And have a nice day. Nice to meet you all. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So please, before you go, sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
Before you go, it would be nice for you to drop your LinkedIn handle so that in case they want to connect with you or want to reach out to you for advice or mentorship.
Yeah, it's actually exactly my name, actually.
Okay. Thank you
Exactly
very
my
much.
name. Yeah.
So for those of you who are maybe wondering, or those of you that wants to connect with Dr. Jude, that is the LinkedIn handle there. Just copy it and search on LinkedIn. You will see him, connect with him. He's always active on LinkedIn and he will always reply your text. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you, Prince, and thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. Bye. So we'll be moving over to the next section. Mr. Bello, are you on the call? Please share this slide, Mr. Bello. Mr. Bello.
Sorry, I need a minute.
I hope we've all enjoyed today's session. And I hope that a lot of us here will leave the session with a thing or two. It has been a wonderful session, to be very honest with you. It has been a wonderful session. Special thanks to Mr. Lucky and also to Dr. Jude. So our next session is the networking session. And it will be taken by William Takpa. William Takpa, SPROMU Ghana. Is he on the call? Mr. William, are you on the call? I don't think Mr. William is on the call. So please, the essence of this networking session is to get to connect with one another, get to connect with each other. So I'll be giving you guys 5 minutes to drop your LinkedIn handle, your phone number, your Instagram, whatever way you know that they can reach out to you to network. So I'm giving you 5 minutes, 5 minutes. I'm not seeing any link or username on the chat box. It's like no one wants to connect. You don't want people to connect with you or what? Mr. Bello, please, next slide. Okay, so our next session will be the announcements, which will be taken by Elaine, SDU, SP UMAT Ghana. Ma, are you on the call? Elaine, are you on the call? Elaine, are you on the call? Elaine, I don't think she's on the call. So please, next slide. Okay, so become an SP member today. Get first-hand internship and career information, that which is the benefit of being an SP member. Mentorship programs from industry leaders, scholarships and training, access to our vast technical and professional resource libraries with knowledge base, network with industry leaders and professionals, both locally and internationally, and lots more. Not yet a member, join or renew and unlock hidden opportunities. Mr. Bello, next slide. Time is running out. Okay, so the photograph session, please, next slide. The photograph session will be taken by Mr. Juma Dawoodi, SPGIT Tanzania. Mr.
Yes,
Juma,
bro.
you call.
Yeah, I'm in the call, bro.
Okay, please take
Yeah,
over.
simply we have to, everyone should turn on his or her camera so that we can take. Good evening, everyone. My name is Juma Daudi, and I am the president of SPE, Dar es Salaam Institute of Technology, Tanzania section. So I would like everyone to turn on his or her camera so that we can chat. Just like a few seconds, guys. Ensure that. Make sure that all you turn on your camera. Others, they don't turn their on their cameras.
Okay, please, let's do the SP thumbs up as we turn our camera. Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Juma.
Okay, no problem, bro. I think I've done.
Mr. Bello, please, next slide. Okay, so the closing remark, which will be taken by me. So my name is Eseka Chukwuka Prince. I'm the president of SPSDU. And on behalf of SPSDU and the collaborating chapters, I want to sincerely thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all for making these 2 days webinar and insightful, impactful, and Thank you all for the experience. Thank you so much for making this program a successful one. I'd like to also thank our guest speakers, both the ones that took today's section and yesterday's section. They've impacted on us a lot. Those of you that were not here yesterday, you missed out, but thank God that you are here today. So thank you all, and I would love to see you guys some other time, and I would love to collaborate with you guys some other time. Have a good night. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Eat healthy. Avoid wahala. So thank you all. Have a good night. God bless you all. Peace out.